looking after your body. There are many things that we can do to look after our bodies, because an out of balance body can increase our vulnerability to negative emotions and feeling extremes of emotions and falling into that emotional mind. So taking care of our bodies helps us to cope and be able to adapt to stressful situations. So it's kind of a prevention strategy, really. So we're trying to stop ourselves from falling into that emotional mind place. So today is all about the cheese skill. So what does that stand for? It stands for can do, health, eating, exercise, sleep and enjoy. Because the annoying thing is that it's really easy for things to send us into that hot emotional mind, and that's the kind of place where we don't often make the wisest of choices, because we're being led purely by emotion, and we're being led by the nose, and we're just going wherever it takes us, and that's when we feel out of control, or we feel, that our options are limited. So we're trying to reduce the risk of falling into that place. So things like when we're really stressed, we're likely to be more emotionally reactive. Or things like when we're really tired, you're likely to react in a way that you wouldn't normally react. And it's because you've got one of those vulnerability factors that we're trying to reduce. C stands for can do, because it often feels like there are lots of things that you can't do because of how you're feeling or your mood. So can do is about doing something every day that you can do, something that you're good at, so that you get to the end of the day and you think, yeah, I've achieved that, or I've done that, and I've developed a sense of purpose, and I've increased my confidence and self-esteem by doing something. So it can be going for a walk, it can be even brushing your teeth. Sometimes people just don't brush their teeth all day because they don't feel like it, but actually doing that, it gives you a sense of achievement, and I've done this today. It doesn't matter how big or how small. We're not talking massive jobs here. We're not talking about painting the living room. It's about just doing what you can do. Knitting might be an option for you. Or just getting up and getting dressed and out of bed as well. And I say just that, but for some people that's a very, very difficult task. But it's a sense of achievement that I have done it, and you're more likely then to kind of snowball and do other things if you've done and got some small wins under your belt. H stands for health, and that includes things like looking after your body and seeing a doctor if you're not very well. So things like pain, tired, stressed, worry, they can all have a massive impact on our physical health and our overall sense of well-being. And it can, again, if you're in pain or you've got a physical illness, you're more likely to increase that risk of falling into that emotional mind place. And we see this in hospitals when people say and do things that they wouldn't normally do because they're in an enormous amount of pain, and it's made them feel vulnerable, and it's created that emotional hot mind. So we want to be able to reduce that as much as possible. So taking care of our bodies by eating properly, sleeping, resting, wearing the right clothes. Don't wear clothes that make you feel too hot and stressed, because again, that you're going to fall into that emotional mind place. So be kind to your bodies and don't hurt them, because when we feel ill and poorly, we do struggle to manage any other emotions that come in on top of that, because we're already kind of battling through. So the healthier you are, the better you are in terms of being able to manage and regulate your emotions. So it also includes taking things like your medications as prescribed. Quite a lot of people might just take them as and when they remember, and medications don't usually work like that. They work on a continuous basis, so it's important in order to prevent you from falling into that emotional mind place and feeling vulnerable to emotions in that way, it's important to take them as stated, really. Avoiding substances and alcohol, because they can have a huge impact on your mood, in the moment, after. They can make your emotions kind of go up and down. Lots and lots of rows and things in pubs and clubs, because people have fallen into that emotional mind. They've had too much to drink, and they're managing things in a very emotional way. And then in the cold light of day, they feel very different about the situation, and they manage it in a completely different way. So it can have a huge impact on what you do and how you respond to things. Eating the right amount of food, getting the right balance of healthy foods, and avoiding that emotion food. That I feel really, really down, so I'm going to eat a whole chocolate cake to make me feel better. But then afterwards they don't feel better, so it's not really solved the problem, and then they probably experience another difficult feeling after that comes in. So trying to avoid emotional eating, and by eating the right amount of foods in the right way across the day, you've less chance of having that restricted diet, because you can eat too much, you can eat too little, and they both increase your vulnerability to falling into that emotion mind place. So how much we eat and how often we eat is really important, because it has a huge impact on our mood. So I don't know if you've heard of people getting hangry when they're so hungry that they just get really, really angry. And that's a real thing. It's a real emotional response. So that, again, it's reduced the vulnerability of that. But have a think about what foods make you feel good and calm and energised, and it's about eating more of those things rather than foods that leave you with a guilty feeling or a negative kind of a mood, whatever it might be. This is the government Eat Well plate, and it's a guideline of what foods and balance of food you should be having on a daily basis. So plenty of fruits and vegetables. They talk about eating a rainbow, lots of different colours, because there's lots of different vitamins and minerals in all those different colours. A larger proportion as well over there of sort of breads, rice, pastas, potatoes, carbs and starchy foods. And then on the bottom it's got smaller portions of meat, fish, eggs, beans, and it can, if you're vegetarian, there's lots of things you can get your protein from, in terms of sort of pulses and things like that. There's milk and dairy foods, and then there's a smaller portion of food and drinks that are high in fat and high in sugar. So that's an example of a balance, and there are lots of other examples of how to get a balanced diet, and there are different kinds of diets depending on, like I said, whether you're a vegetarian or what kind of eating plan you're following. But it's all about the balance. So too much of anything is not good. Too little of some things is not good. So it's just finding that right balance. The E is for exercise, and this can take many different forms. It doesn't have to be, Olympic athlete level training here. We're talking about doing some exercise and some movement every day, to whatever level you can manage. So the suggested level is whatever makes you a little bit out of breath and a little bit sweaty is moving your body, and it's doing something, and it's going to release those feel-good chemicals, and it can help fight depression. It makes you feel fitter and stronger, so that you then feel like you can do more things, so that you feel better in your clothes, and increase that level of self-esteem and a sense of achievement. So there's loads and loads of positives that come with exercise, and some people, have said that it's better than any medication that you could have for low mood. It's exercise. Don't go, if you're not used to doing exercise, don't go too hard too quickly, because you'll just kind of get that sense that I'm not good enough at this, and I can't do this, and you'll put yourself off from wanting to do it again in the future. So start small and build yourself up. The government guidelines is 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a week, but that 30 minutes doesn't have to be in one go. You know, you can go for a 10-minute walk, or you can do a 10-minute YouTube yoga session, or there are apps as well that you can get on your phone that are 7-minute workouts. Whatever it is that you fancy doing, just try different things as well, mix it up so that you're not getting bored. But physical movement can have a massive impact on your mood. Sleep. Getting the right amount of sleep is so important, because if you've not slept all night, the next day you're really irritable, you've got no patience for anybody, you can't concentrate, you just get really snappy, and you can get quite angry really quickly, you make mistakes, you just don't tend to respond to things in the same way that you would had you had a restful night's sleep. So try to get the amount of sleep that helps you to feel good, because we all have a different optimum amount of sleep. Some people, need a good 10 hours, whatever it might be. Some people can get by on 4 hours, and that's fine for them. So whatever you need, try to get as much of that as you can. And we manage that by going to bed at a similar time and getting up at a similar time to maintain a consistent sleep schedule. So it helps our body to regulate. So if you're all over the place and 1 minute you're up till 3 a.m. and the next minute you're going to bed at 7 p.m, your body struggles to get into a bit of a routine. So sleep is really important, and we can help our bodies to wind down and get ready for sleep by doing things like turning the telly off at a certain time, reducing caffeinated drinks after a certain time. So I wouldn't have a coffee after 6 o'clock in the evening, because that'd be it then. I'd just be up till 3 a.m. But some people have a different sensitivity to caffeine, and that's, you've got to go on what suits you. But maybe having a nice bath before bed, telling your body and communicating to your body like, shh, we're going to sleep soon and we need to chill out. So don't expect to just, watch a really scary, horrific film and then just go straight to bed and go to sleep, because it's probably not going to happen. You've sent mixed messages to your body there, and it's like, I'm ready for danger, and you're like, no, ready for sleep, and it doesn't really catch the message. So try to communicate with your body as well. This is what's going to happen. Do something you enjoy every day, and that can be anything, whatever takes your fancy, but do something that gives you pleasure and happiness, or fun, or gives you a laugh, whatever it is, because that can leave you with a lasting effect and a lasting improvement on your mood, and can fight things like low mood. Be mindful of catching your judgments and your expectations of doing things that you think, right, this should make me happy and this should make me improve my mood, and because you just don't want to set yourself up for too much of a high expectation, but try to be in the moment and just be present and do it from a mindful perspective. So remember, cheese, and it stands for can do, health, eating, exercise, sleep and enjoy.